Hey, big update out of Dallas. And I'm going to be blunt. This is the kind of roster shakeup that gives you hope, but also that makes you take a breath and set expectations. The Cowboys just activated linebacker DeMarvion Overshown and rookie cornerback Shavon Revel to the 53-man roster. That officially puts both players back on the active roster and available to contribute after long recoveries. That's the headline, and it's important because both guys carry serious upside, but both are coming off major injuries, and you can't treat them like instant fixes. Before I get into what that means for the defense, a quick reminder. The roster picture around the Cowboys has changed this season, with Micah Parsons no longer in Dallas and now a Green Bay Packer, and the Cowboys being aggressive at the deadline to add pieces up front and at linebacker. Those larger moves matter because the team isn't just hoping health returns. It's reconfiguring how it creates pressure and covers space. Keep that in your head as we talk about these activations. So let's be real. Overshown's return is great news because when he's been on the field, he's shown the instincts and range you want from a modern linebacker. But he's coming off a catastrophic knee injury. We're talking multiple ligament damage, and that requires a cautious ramp-up. Don't expect him to instantly lace up for every snap. The smart play from the coaching staff is to plan limited snaps early. Use him in sub-packages, where his athleticism is an advantage, and protect him from heavy lineup practices while he regains football conditioning. That's how you get long-term value instead of a short-term risk. And Revel, a rookie who slipped in the draft after an ACL, is an intriguing developmental piece. He's young, he's talented in man coverage traits, but he's also a player who needs reps and confidence more than he needs highlight reels right away. Expect the coaches to introduce him gradually, maybe on special teams and in situational matchups early on, not as an immediate shutdown corner. Quick fan poll to warm up the comments. Should the Cowboys ease Overshown in or push him into the lineup quickly? Type no if you think he should be eased in, or yes if you want him starting now. Also, if you're not subscribed, help push us to our goal of 16,000 subscribers. Hit like if you want more honest roster takes, and drop a quick number 1 to 5 for how confident you are in the defense now. I'll watch the votes and we'll use them in the next video. DeMarvion Overshown's comeback might be the most inspiring storyline on this defense right now, and yet it's also the one that demands the most patience. When you hear the phrase catastrophic knee injury, it's easy to gloss over what that really means. In Overshown's case, it wasn't just an ACL. It was a complex reconstruction involving multiple ligaments. That's not a 6-month rehab. That's a full-year rebuild of strength, flexibility, and trust in your own body. It's one thing to cut and sprint in rehab drills. It's another to fly downhill, take on a pulling guard, and absorb contact from a 230-pound back at full speed. The truth is, the Cowboys are counting on his long-term upside, not his Week 1 impact. And that's the smart call. The linebacker position has been one of Dallas's weakest spots this season, partly because of communication breakdowns and partly because of inconsistent tackling in the middle of the field. Overshown, when healthy, brings a totally different gear. He plays fast, he anticipates, and he's not afraid to fill gaps. But that same aggressiveness can backfire if you rush him before his legs are fully underneath him. The front office has to balance fan excitement with medical reality. We've seen this before. Michael Gallup came back from his knee too soon and never looked like himself until much later. Trevon Diggs's recovery also took time, and the Cowboys learned how dangerous it can be to mistake cleared to play for ready to compete. Overshown's mental toughness will make him want to go full speed from the jump, but the coaching staff needs to protect him from himself. Limited snap counts, controlled rotations, and a focus on conditioning over contact. That's how you make sure this comeback lasts. It's also worth remembering what kind of player Overshown can become once he's fully back. In college, he lined up everywhere: box linebacker, edge blitzer, even nickel coverage. And that versatility fits perfectly in today's hybrid NFL defenses. Matt Eberflus loves that kind of chess piece, especially in disguise looks where a linebacker drops under a slant or creeps up for pressure. If Overshown regains even 85% of his pre-injury burst, he can carve out a critical role as the fast-flowing linebacker this defense has been missing since Micah Parsons left town. But the real takeaway here is timing. The Cowboys don't need Overshown to be a star today. They need him to be healthy and confident when games start to matter in December and beyond. Every snap he takes between now and then should build trust in that knee, in his reaction time, and in his ability to take hits without hesitation. That's the real scoreboard to watch. Let me throw a question to you directly. Have you ever seen a player come back from a major injury and somehow look even better than before? Drop a name in the comments if you have. And if you believe Overshown can be that story, type the word respect down below. Also, make sure you've subscribed. We're pushing towards 16,000 strong here, and it's the support from fans like you that keeps these updates coming. Now let's shift the spotlight to Shavon Revel, the other name making waves in Dallas this week. His activation might not carry the same emotional weight as Overshown's return, but make no mistake, this rookie's path could quietly shape the future of the Cowboys secondary. Revel was a high-upside college corner, whose draft stock dropped after a serious knee injury ended his final season early. Before that, scouts loved his length, his closing burst, and the way he challenged receivers at the catch point. He had first-round athletic traits written all over him, until the injury pushed teams to hit pause. Dallas saw the opportunity, stashed him on injured reserve, and now finally he's active and ready to test himself against pro speed. But here's where reality sets in. A rookie cornerback who hasn't played a live game in more than a year isn't stepping in to erase opposing wideouts overnight. This league humbles young defensive backs faster than almost any position. Footwork discipline, leverage angles, communication. All of that takes live reps, and Revel hasn't had many. The Cowboys will likely ease him in with situational packages and special teams reps to rebuild confidence and conditioning. Expect to see him rotated in dime looks or against bigger receivers where his length can be an asset. Coaches are intrigued because he fits the mold of what this new defensive structure under Matt Eberflus wants. Physical press corners who can survive without constant safety help. In a scheme that prioritizes front seven disruption, with Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark collapsing pockets up front. You need corners who can hold up for just that extra half second. Revel's tape shows he can do that, provided he trusts his knee and stays low in his back pedal. There's also a mental side to this. Coming off an injury, young players often hesitate, and that half step of doubt is all it takes for a veteran receiver to win the route. The Cowboys will measure Revel's progress not by interceptions, but by how quickly he closes space and whether he's triggering downhill without second-guessing. If he can reach that point by late season, this secondary's depth suddenly looks a lot more stable. So how should fans see it? Hopeful, but grounded. Revel's future could be bright, but development takes patience, just like Overshown's recovery. For now, consider any positive snap a building block toward 2026, not an instant fix. Quick fan question for you. What grade would you give Shavon Revel as a draft pick now that he's finally active? Drop an A through F in the comments, and if you like getting these rookie spotlights, hit that like button. It tells YouTube you want more of this kind of deep dive content. Now let's talk about what all of this really means for the Cowboys defense moving forward, because Overshown and Revel aren't returning to the same unit they left. This defense has been reshaped mid-season through a combination of injuries, hard lessons, and aggressive roster moves. The team didn't just sit back and hope for improvement. They went out and added major help up front and in the middle of the field. bringing in players like Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson to stabilize two spots that had been glaring weaknesses since early in the year. When you add those pieces to the equation, suddenly the defensive formula starts to make more sense. With Quinnen Williams joining Kenny Clark on the interior, the Cowboys have something they haven't had in years: consistent pocket collapse from the middle. That kind of pressure completely changes how opposing offenses play. Quarterbacks can no longer simply step up to avoid edge pressure. Now they've got a 300-pound wall closing in from both sides. And when that happens, the linebackers, especially a player like Overshown, get clean run lanes. They're not fighting off guards, they're attacking open space. That's the difference between a defense reacting and a defense dictating. The addition of Logan Wilson might not grab headlines like a big trade for a pass rusher would, but it could be the glue move that holds this new structure together. Wilson is a communicator. He diagnoses formations, calls adjustments, and brings a level of field awareness that this defense has sorely lacked. That matters, especially when you're mixing in young talent like Overshown and Revel, who still need clear direction on alignments and responsibilities. And let's not avoid the elephant in the room. Micah Parsons isn't walking through that door anymore. His move to Green Bay forced the Cowboys to rethink how they generate pressure. You can't replicate Micah's production with one player, so Eberflus has turned to scheme. He's relying on more interior stunts, delayed blitzes from safeties, and rotation-based confusion. The return of Overshown fits that model perfectly. You can disguise him at the line, drop him out, or send him from the second level without showing your hand. But for all the excitement, this defense is still a work in progress. Chemistry doesn't develop overnight. These new faces, Williams, Wilson, Overshown, Revel, have to communicate, learn each other's habits, and trust the system. The upside is real though. With improved pressure inside, the secondary won't be forced to cover for 4 or 5 seconds a snap, and that's how you get turnovers. Faster throws mean tipped passes, bad decisions, and more chances for takeaways. Still, fans should watch one key stat over the next few weeks: missed tackles. That's been the hidden killer all season. You can have all the pass rush in the world, but if a 5-yard slant turns into a 20-yard gain because of a whiff, nothing else matters. The Cowboys need Overshown and Wilson to clean that up first. Once that foundation is solid, then you'll start seeing the defense that this roster was built for. All right, your turn. Which addition do you think will make the biggest impact down the stretch? Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson, Overshown, or Revel? Drop your pick in the comments, and if you're liking how this defense is being rebuilt, make sure you're subscribed. We're chasing that 16,000 subscriber mark, and every click helps keep this community growing. So where does this all leave the Cowboys? Right now? In a transition, yes, but one that finally feels like it's moving in the right direction. The return of Overshown and Revel, paired with the additions of Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, gives this defense something it hasn't had all year: structure. There's now legitimate talent at every level, and if the staff plays it smart, this unit can find rhythm before the playoff push even begins. But here's the honest truth. Fans shouldn't expect overnight dominance. This is a group that's learning how to play together again. Overshown needs to build confidence in that knee. Revel has to get real game experience. Wilson is still adjusting to Eberflus's terminology. Even Quinnen Williams, as dominant as he can be, has to find chemistry with the rest of the defensive line. That takes reps, not hype. The bright side is that every snap they take from this point on is building towards something that could be special next season. If you want to measure progress, don't just look at the score. Look at the small things. How many missed tackles get cleaned up week to week? How often linebackers are hitting their gaps without hesitation? How quickly the defensive backs are breaking on the football? Those are the plays that tell you whether the system is working. If those start trending upward, Then wins will follow naturally. And let's be real. This team doesn't need to win every game to prove it's turning a corner. What it needs is to stay healthy, to keep developing the young talent, and to walk into next year with a clear identity on defense. That's the long game the Cowboys are finally starting to play. Now I want to hear from you. If you could choose one area of improvement for this defense between now and the end of the season, what would it be? Is it tackling, communication, turnovers, or pass rush? Drop your answer below. And if you're still with me here, it means you care about this team the way I do. So make sure you're subscribed, hit that like button, and help us hit our goal of 16,000 strong. Every voice matters here at Cowboys News TV, and your support is what keeps these conversations alive.